and welcome to Learning with Lulu. In this video we are going to do a summary of chapter 15 in the Scarlet letter. So in chapter 15 we just left Hester and Chillingworth arguing about Hester wanting to reveal Chillingworth's identity to Dimmesdale. She wants him to stop torturing Dimmesdale. They also kind of got in an argument about who's to blame for their present situation. All of that takes place. Now Pearl goes to retrieve her daughter, who she kind of sent off to play. As she's going to get Pearl, she is thinking about this man who is, I guess, technically still her husband. There hasn't been any sort of divorce, and they're both living and in the same town. So she thinks about this man who is her husband and how much she hates him, and she thinks about how they used to spend time together before they even came to the Americas, when, you know, they were still in that post-nuptial bliss, aka honeymoon period. And she kind of realizes that she thinks it was kind of a delusion, that she had self-deluded herself to ever really care for him, and that she hates him now. But she continues on and gets Pearl, who's been playing down in the tide pools. Pearl has been pretending to be a mermaid. It says that she has inherited her mother's ability to fashion lovely little garments. As part of her mermaid costume, she finds some eelgrass that's a very vibrant green, and she makes her own little green letter A on her chest to mimic her mother's scarlet letter A. I want you to just take a brief moment and just think about the symbolism of the colors in this instance. If you know anything about like Eastern medicine and the chakras, the red is the root chakra, and it is the energy center of very physical needs, including physical intimacy. You know, it's a color of passion and activity. And green is associated with the heart energy center. And so green can often be symbolic of love and life and abundance of that nature. And so little Pearl has this green green letter A on her chest as part of her mermaid costume. And it says that sweet little 7-year-old Pearl kind of hopes that her mom will ask her about it. Obviously, this 7-year-old has grown up seeing her mother wearing this scarlet letter all her life. No one else has anything like that. Obviously, it's a point of curiosity and interest and a mystery that she wants to understand. And so she hopes that her mother will point out her green letter A. And Hester does notice it, and instead of asking Pearl about her letter A, she says, "Do you know what mine stands for?" And I believe the text almost says it's like this morbid curiosity to see, like, does her daughter know what it means? Pearl, again, in being a very observant little girl, she says that she thinks the scarlet letter on her mother's chest for some reason connects to Dimmesdale's chest because he's always clutching at his heart, and she says they're connected. Pearl's level of perceptiveness kind of catches Hester off guard, and I mean, Pearl is completely right, but Hester just is perhaps a mix of awe and fear that she feels at Pearl being able to identify that. And she briefly wonders, you know, is Hester at an age where I can confide in her and, you know, kind of really be honest about these type of things with her? But she determines that no, she's not, and she decides not to tell Pearl the true meaning, or the original, I would say, not necessarily the true, but the original meaning of the scarlet letter on her chest. Pearl remains very persistent in asking her mother what it means. It says that she asks her 2 or 3 times right then. She asks her 2 or 3 times on the way home, at dinner, at bedtime, and even the following morning. It's the very first things that she asks her mom. She is very insistent on wanting to understand this. You know, Pearl isn't a little 3-year-old who can kind of be interested in one thing and then, you know, kind of shift her attention elsewhere. She's a 7-year-old who's probably really trying to understand her place, and just like her mother in a previous chapter was contemplating her place in society, her daughter is reaching this age. She's 7 years old, and as I mentioned, that's an age where you're starting to understand nuances and opposing ideas that both are somehow true. And I imagine Pearl is just unable to let up on this because she knows that there's something significant about her mother's Scarlet letter. Hence why in her play she creates her own, but instead of it being out of gold and scarlet thread, instead hers is made from the vibrant green plant life from a thriving ocean. And so she continues to ask her mother, why do you wear that? And why does the Reverend clutch at his heart? That is chapter 15. So let me know your thoughts on Pearl's behavior in this chapter. Let me know your thoughts also on her creating her own green letter A on her chest in her play as a mermaid. Any thoughts that you have on the symbolism there? With that all being said, please make sure to also like the video, subscribe to this channel, and share not only this video but also just this playlist of chapter summaries in the Scarlet letter with anyone you know who may benefit from having them. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you back around.